Head to Safeway this week for these amazing deals for members. USDA choice beef ribeye, New York strip steak, or boneless beef tri-tip roast, bone-in steak, or untrimmed tri-tip roast. Buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. Enjoy Ben & Jerry's ice cream, non-dairy ice cream, Talenti gelato, or Layers pint sizes, or Breyer's ice cream 1.5 quart, or Baskin-Robbins ice cream 14-ounce selected varieties. Buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. Visit Safeway.com for more details. See you in the aisles.
I'm waiting to see if the devil is man enough to show up. I've been waiting for almost 6 hours at the intersection of Highways 61 and 49 in Clarksdale, Mississippi. When I got here and took my seat off the side of the road, the sun was still out and it was hot. Now the sun is about to set and there's a cool chill rising beneath me. Cars are few and far between. Most of the drivers don't even notice that I'm here. That's fine by me. I'm here for one man and one man only. If you think I'm crazy, blame my father. He loved Robert Johnson, one of the most influential blues musicians ever. What makes him a legend isn't just the music. As great as that was, it's the story of how Robert Johnson became Robert Johnson. The story of him and the devil. I can still picture it. I couldn't have been older than 7 or 8 at the time. Sitting in the basement with my father, late at night, too late for a child. But when the music was on, time stopped and rules became arbitrary. Listening to the blues, me and my father, in his eyes, I had reached that age when a dad feels it's his duty to talk about how the world works. When the wonder of life begins to fade and you can see it for what it truly is. That's when he told me the legend about Robert Johnson's pact with the devil, starting with a man named Ike Zimmerman. Ike played guitar and harmonica in local juke joints, often practicing at night in local cemeteries where he would not disturb others. Robert Johnson, who had been born in nearby Hazelhurst, came back to the area around 1931 and was hoping to find his father, Noah Johnson. No such luck. Instead, Johnson stopped to visit a local juke joint where he saw Zimmerman perform. According to local lore and family accounts, Zimmerman was known to practice guitar at night in graveyards where it was quiet and some say spiritually charged. Some stories suggest Zimmerman may have introduced Johnson to the idea of seeking supernatural inspiration for his music, including the idea of going to a crossroads. Why the intersections of Highways 61 and 49 in Clarksdale, Mississippi? Nobody knows. Every ounce of this sounds crazy. Am I crazy for believing it? A year ago I would have said yes, but I was a different man last year. The world I knew then and the world I know now both exist. I've lived to see them both with my own eyes, just as some people believe there is a heaven and a hell. A year ago I didn't believe in either. Now I'm sitting here on the side of the road waiting for the devil, because I know God won't show.
Head to Safeway this week for these amazing deals for members. USDA choice beef ribeye, New York strip steak, or boneless beef tri-tip roast, bone-in steak, or untrimmed tri-tip roast. Buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. Enjoy Ben & Jerry's ice cream, non-dairy ice cream, Talenti gelato, or Layers pint sizes, or Breyer's ice cream 1.5 quart, or Baskin-Robbins ice cream 14-ounce selected varieties. Buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. Visit Safeway.com for more details. See you in the aisles.
The undeniable truth of record is that when Robert Johnson disappeared for a short time, he was not a great musician. Upon his return, he became one of the best to ever do it. So what happened in between? What changed? According to my father, none of this is a legend. All of this is true. He made a deal with the devil. I'm sitting approximately where Robert sat back in the early 1930s when the exchange occurred. A mysterious figure arrived. He handed over his guitar. The figure tuned it, played a few songs, and handed the guitar back to him. In that moment, Johnson's soul was said to be traded for unparalleled musical skill and eventual fame. This act made Johnson the blues man of destiny, but condemned him to an early death. Both became true. Johnson's skill and fame, as well as his early death, at the age of 27. Add him to the list of other musical icons who died at 27. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse. The devil is said to arrive around midnight. I check my watch frequently. I can feel time slowing down as it becomes a new day. I keep my head in a swivel. Although I suspect if he is a man enough to show up, he'll walk right towards me. I went to the crossroads, fell down on my knees, asked the Lord above have mercy now. Save poor Bob if you please. From his song Crossroad Blues in 1936. I imagine I won't have to say what I want in exchange for my soul. He must know. The devil always knows. I want my family back. He can take me and everything I have inside if it means they get to come back. It was 2:30 in the morning when I got the call. 2:37 to be exact. Back then I was working security for the hospital on the St. Francis campus, part of the University of Kansas health system. After 30 years of being a cop, it was time to hang it up, get my pension, live the good life. The good life lasted about a month before my wife told me to get a new job. She was right. She knew me better than I knew myself. All those conversations I had with her and myself about how great it would be to retire and just be comfortable. I was never comfortable at being comfortable. That's when a retired buddy of mine told me about St. Francis, the perfect part-time gig to make a little extra cash and get me on my feet. Watching out for people was my strong suit. That's what they told me. Until I got that call. At 2:37 a.m., my wife of 22 years, my daughter, age 17, son, age 15, all of them, dead, because I wasn't home. A father's job is to protect his family, and I failed because I wasn't home. I was out working a part-time job that I didn't even need, just for some extra cash. This monster came through our home in the middle of the night and took it all away from me in the most brutal fashion imaginable. I wasn't allowed to see the crime scene for obvious reasons. Maybe it's best that I didn't. If I had, I wouldn't be here right now. I know where I'd be. I'd be on the devil's turf, down below. That thought has crossed my mind more times than I'd care to admit. There are many people who believe that when I die we will reunite, that right now they are in heaven waiting for me to arrive. In what world would a man see his family torn apart, limb by limb, and believe that heaven awaits him? Not this world. Any world but this one. The cops had no leads, so I took the investigation into my own hands. Every road was a dead end. I questioned everyone who knew my wife, everyone who knew my daughter, everyone who knew my son, and they were kind enough to spare a couple minutes, but they had no answers, no words, only tears. Most of them offered the same form of solace. I can't imagine. That's what they all said. It's true. You can't imagine what it's like. You can only see it, feel it, after it's happened to you. If hope still has meaning, I hope that you never know, that nobody ever knows. But they will. Every day there's someone else out there who knows. I scour newspapers constantly, local, state, national. So many stories of tragedy. I hate to admit this, yet I find a semblance of comfort in the pain of others, knowing that I am not alone in my grief. A year later, I am no closer to the truth now than I was back then. There had to be something I was missing. Every station has open cases. It comes with a job, but not this one. Not the one involving my family. I cornered one of my best friends who was still in the force, Detective Coleman, right as he was leaving the bar and getting into his car. I told him to tell me something, anything. I didn't care how small or worthless the intel was. I needed something. My life had lost all meaning, except for the case. The case I wasn't allowed to work because I wouldn't be objective. So I held Coleman's car door open until he told me something. He could have knocked my hands clean off at any time. He had 10 years and 20 pounds of me. But he was there, waiting outside the morgue when I couldn't identify their bodies, because they had no faces. It was as if someone or something had put all of them into a blender. Coleman heard my wails outside that morgue. Those guttural wails. When I fell to the floor and the world began to shake. Nothing is more primal than pain. He knows that because he saw me. Finally, he speaks.
You're not gonna like it.
I told him I knew that. I told him I appreciated him telling me this, whatever it was. And then he told me that the question on everyone's mind wasn't who did this. The question was what?
Head to Safeway this week for these amazing deals for members. USDA choice beef ribeye, New York strip steak, or boneless beef tri-tip roast, bone-in steak, or untrimmed tri-tip roast. Buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. Enjoy Ben & Jerry's ice cream, non-dairy ice cream, Talenti gelato, or Layers pint sizes, or Breyer's ice cream 1.5 quart, or Baskin-Robbins ice cream 14-ounce selected varieties. Buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. Visit Safeway.com for more details. See you in the aisles.
I told him I didn't follow what he was saying. He told me he was drunk, not to listen to him, and then I should call him tomorrow when he sobered up a little. He'd be able to talk then. But I didn't make that call. Instead, I stayed up all night thinking about the what. If the thing that took my family away from me was not of this world, then this new world I was living in made a whole lot more sense. Maybe I had crossed over. Maybe I had died and my family was still alive. Maybe I just hadn't slept in weeks. Maybe I was losing my mind. My father was a cop too. He used to take walks late at night to help himself think. Better than stewing around the house, my mom would tell him. If he caught a bad case, like something involving a kid, he'd go walking a lot. If he still couldn't sleep when he got back home, he'd head down to the basement and listen to the blues. Robert Johnson. There was one case my dad caught that he couldn't shake. It was after my mom had passed away. Lowell Lee Andrews, University of Kansas student. Andrews murdered his parents and sister on November 28, 1958, executed by hanging at age 22 on November 30th, 1962. I heard my dad talking to his friend in the basement about him. He talked about his eyes. Those cold, dead eyes. Said that he looked detached. I didn't know what that meant back then. I do now. I've seen those eyes in my time. How different is the devil from Lowell Lee Andrews? Or any of the cases I caught during my time in the force? Why is one myth and the other a statistic? Maybe I just need to go to bed. Or maybe I need to listen to Robert Johnson. Either he looks me in my eyes, tells me what happened to my family, or my last breath is going to be at the intersection of Highway 61 and 49. Door 1 or door 2.
Keep it simple.
My dad used to say that all the time.
Everything in moderation. Keep it simple. If she laughs at your jokes, marry her.
Those were his big three. 9 hours ago, I was in my basement listening to Robert Johnson. The words slid down my eyes as he sang. I went to the crossroads, fell down on my knees, asked the Lord above have mercy. Save poor Bob, if you please. I got up, got into my car, and got on the road. Here I am. What's left of me anyway, waiting for the beginning of my new life, or the end of my old one. I checked my watch. It's past midnight. My adrenaline is so vivid that I don't feel the cold. I feel warmth, hot, burning. My right arm flinches and I dart up into my feet. Something singed my skin. Wasn't it an insect? What kind of critters are crawling around here, I wonder? I blow into my arm. The same way my children used to blow in their soup before they took a bite. I can feel my children again, and it takes my breath away. I hate the grief, but at the same time I love it, because it keeps my family close. I don't ever want the grief to leave. This is the price I pay for loving my family. The pain for losing them is too much to bear. The gun is in my hand. As tears begin to form in my eyes, I see it, floating in the sky. Embers. Like butterflies on fire. I try to sidestep them as they slowly cascade, gliding up the empty road. I turn each and every way for the origin of the flame. I feel it before I see it. Off in the distance, there's a fire, sitting alone, up in the twilight. A year ago I would have said this defied all logic. A patch of black in the air lit up in flames. But a year ago in my life is more than a lifetime. I take one step towards the fire when I hear it. A hawk. Stopped in the middle of the road, headlights aimed square at me, is a 1988 Honda Accord. I block the gun with my body and tuck it into the back of my jeans while I slowly walk towards the driver's side seat. Is this him? Was he man enough to face me? I'm greeted with a smile. That's a promising start. You okay, friend? Female, early 20s. Chocolate Labrador in the passenger seat. The back is packed to the brim with luggage and random knickknacks. What little I do know about the devil tells me he probably wouldn't have a chocolate lab as a dog, or drive a Honda Accord. I tell her I'm fine, just waiting for someone. You're waiting out here? Alone? At midnight? Must be an important person. She flashes the smile again as her dog pants hot breath into her ear. If you need a lift, I'm heading straight for about another hour. I tell her I'm not stranded, but I appreciate the hospitality. I point towards my truck, and as I do, we both see it. The front right tire, flat, burrowing into the dirt like a nervous child. She asks, "You got an extra?" I don't have an extra, but I don't tell her this. At first I say nothing. What are the odds, I wonder? The tire looked full last I checked. Is the devil playing a trick on me? Isn't that the defining nature of his character? I lower my hand and turn back to her. This time, I smile and say, on second thought, I could use a lift. That's the name. Don't wear it out. Her dog was kind enough to hop in the back and scrunch up between garbage bags filled with clothes. Lola tells me the "don't wear it out" thing came from her father, whose name was Larry Levain. Larry would embarrass his kids all the time whenever he introduced himself by stating not to wear it out, and then laugh at his own joke. Long and loud. Lola never thought she'd become like Larry, but she's glad she did, because she loved her father. Look at me now. Just as corny as the old man ever was. I smile. Lola Levain isn't an easy girl to smile around, even for someone like me whose brightest memories are behind him. I can't help but feel just a couple breaths lighter in her passenger side. I push away the sentiment of her sentence as deep into my chest as possible. My heart wants to flood my body with savage jealousy. Flashes of my son begin to stab me in the gut as I picture him saying that about me one day. just as corny as the old man ever was. That future has been erased, replaced by floating embers and paranoia. I see Lola smile and I can't help but wish she could feel my pain. I wish everyone could feel my pain. I wonder if the man who killed my family had a devilish smile like Lola. I no longer see one face when I look into someone's eyes. I see two. The person in front of me and the monster lurking under their skin. Lola asked about my family. It's the first time someone who didn't know me has asked about my life. I don't answer her right away. I contemplate whether to tell her who I am, what I've become. The temptation of lying looms large. I could say anything and become anyone, just for a moment. Even if that's all it was, a moment of time that floats away when the truth burns it. What if it feels good? What if the lie tastes so sweet that I won't be able to ever put that plate away? So I tell her. I tell her everything. My wife, my daughter, my son, why I'm here, at the crossroads, at midnight. I was hoping the devil would show up, so I could kill him. I wait for Lola's response. As I do, my glance turns back to look at her dog, sleeping. Next to the dog is a guitar. How did I not see that before? It's a Gibson L1, same one that Robert Johnson played. A small-bodied archtop guitar with a rounded lower bout and narrow waist. Lola still hasn't said anything. The car is coming to a slow stop as it pulls over to the side of the road. Lola turns off the engine. I am in the middle of nowhere with a complete stranger. A stranger who happens to be a young white woman and picked up an older black man in the middle of the night. Not exactly common behavior in Mississippi. Clearly she is not who she says she is. The devil has won over my trust, and I am now at his mercy. Her face, her sweet face. Only the devil would be sick enough to pick a face that sweet. I embrace whatever fate has in line for me. I slowly turn towards Lola while casually reaching my hand to the back of my pants so I can clutch my gun. I ask her why she pulled over. She says nothing. Instead, she opens the door, tilts her seat forward, and grabs the guitar. My hand is shaking the gun so tight, I'm nervous I might shoot myself before I can even pull it clean. She walks with her guitar over to the hood of her car and sits on it gently. I watch and wait. At first she doesn't move, and then she starts to play. She is lost in the song, and it's as if I don't exist. It's a haunting, beautiful melody. Everything seems to flow from her so naturally. There's nothing to separate her from the guitar or her words. They're playing as one, and it's turning me into a puddle. My legs evaporate into jelly, and I sit down on the concrete. Every ounce of repressed grief that I've kept locked in my gut is now flowing out. She has unlocked everything that lay dormant within my soul. When the song finally ends, I'm sitting on the empty road staring up at her, waiting for fate to strike down from the black sky above me. She opens her eyes, which are filled with tears. Lola says nothing. She then gets back into her car, turning on the engine, sitting in her seat until I finally get up and hop on in. We don't speak until she drops me off at the nearest motel, which is almost an hour away. Lola pulls up outside the motel office. Rather than park, the car remains on as I turn to look back at her. I ask her if she is staying here as well. She tells me that she has a long night ahead of her out in that road. I thank her for the ride, and then I thank her for letting me listen to her song, a song that I will never forget for the rest of my life. I came to that intersection expecting the devil, and instead I met an angel. I ask where home is for her. Helm, she says. Helm Township, Pennsylvania. I never saw Lola again. Until 25 years later, when I saw her name in the newspaper. She had been killed, along with her husband and their youngest daughter. The older daughter was alive because she was at college when the murders occurred. Lola's song came alive. I was instantly transported to that night when she said everything by saying nothing. I always felt indebted to her. She would never know how much beauty that song gave to me, how it gave me a reason to get up the next morning, and the morning after that. Sometimes I wonder if I sold my soul that night. How else to explain the fact that I'm still alive, still searching for a killer that remains elusive, without a shred of evidence. There is something about Lola's murder that strikes a nerve, a deep nerve. The question being asked by the police in charge is not who killed Lola and her husband and their youngest daughter. The question that everyone seems to be asking, it's not who killed them, it's what.
Head to Safeway this week for these amazing deals for members. USDA Choice Beef Ribeye, New York Strip Steak, or Boneless Beef Tri-Tip Roast. Bone-in steak or untrimmed tri-tip roast. Buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. Enjoy Ben & Jerry's ice cream, non-dairy ice cream, Talenti Gelato, or Layers pint sizes, or Breyer's ice cream 1.5 quart, or Baskin-Robbins ice cream 14-ounce selected varieties. Buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. Visit Safeway.com for more details. See you in the aisles.